All right, welcome back to a day in the life of the asset manager and an underwriter. And today we get to hear from the asset manager.
Thank you. And today I'm actually just talking as a networker. I want to share with you some of the things that we have learned over the past that are effective ways of networking. And so I just thought I would share that today. Sounds like there's something happening in Scottsdale this weekend. I know that we are going to Salt Lake for the Best Ever conference. I know that MFM has something coming up, I think in March or April. And then Ari Minter has something in May. And there's all kinds of gurus out there that put on conferences for a couple of days. And then you have just your networking where it's your local networking. And we try really hard to support our local networking because those are the people that you live near, you can talk with. But through technology, it just seems like it really doesn't matter anymore. Like you can live across the country and still maintain those relationships. So I'm just going to go over some ideas to share with you about networking. And the first one is to know, why are you going? Because sometimes we go out of FOMO. Does anyone know what that means? No?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. That's what FOMO stands for. So you go because you don't want to miss anything. You're afraid something's going to happen. And so, honestly, if that's why you're going, don't go. It's not a good reason. It's too much money to spend, too much time to invest to go just so that you don't miss out. But yeah, FOMO is a reason why a lot of people go to these things. So you want to just be really clear on why you're going. So are you going? Are you looking for deals? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for capital? Just kind of depends. I know for us, we are really trying to focus on family offices. We come across deals and they're pretty large and they're larger than what we would want to syndicate. So our whole goal for this particular best ever that we're going to is to find family offices that we can present to talk with, to show them not only what we have done and give them kind of our track record and what we're looking at, but also to see if we can't establish a relationship that when we do find those larger units that we don't want to syndicate, that we can turn to the family office. So all of us know why we're going. Like we've talked about it. This is what we're going to do. This is why we're going. But there's lots of different reasons to go. David said he was going because what he's going to is on capital raising. So to fine tune and hone those skills on capital raising. You never know who you're going to meet there, but you always want to make sure that you have a purpose and you know why you're going. The other thing is you want to have, they call it an elevator pitch or a short intro of just if you're meeting someone for the first time, you do not want to start with that you were born in Montana and that lived in the outdoors a lot and decided that, this was going to be your career path. No, you need a very short, like 3 sentence, maybe 4 sentences of who you are and what you do. And so I know for me, mine's really a short. In fact, I've been told mine's too short. I don't tell people enough because one of the things I forget to mention because it's just, I guess, part of being an asset manager is I was an accountant for 25 years. And I don't say that, and I should, because that really does lend a lot of credibility to being an asset manager. Because when you're an asset manager, that's all you're doing is working with the financials. So I need to make sure I put that in my pitch that I did it for 25 years and I specialized in small businesses, and an apartment complex is its own small business. If you think about it, has its own income, its own expenses, has its own little governing rules, just like a small business would have. And so you want to work on that pitch so that when you meet someone, you can introduce something. And then, you might want to tell them something interesting about them, about yourself, because when they give their pitch to you, you hope they tell you something interesting because you're going to want to try and remember who they are. Some people have fabulous memories, and I know they teach courses on how to remember people's names. I'm kind of fascinated about that, and I wouldn't mind doing that one time. But I just remember that they will teach you how to remember people's names, but that's about it. So hopefully there's something interesting about you that stands out that they can help remember who you are. Um, the other is, and I know I do not do this on this call, is you listen more than you talk. Because I talk on this call the whole time. But when you're meeting someone for the first time, you want to listen. And you can pick up on cues and ask questions. People are not shy about talking about themselves. So, for example, something that you guys may or may not know about me is I am a first-time grandmother, and my grandson is almost 2. And man, he just lights up my life. And so, if anyone was to say to me, do you have any grandkids? Yeah. Let me show you some pictures. I got some pictures. I got all these pictures. So you just want to make sure that you have some interesting things you want to talk about, whether it's a hobby or something that you follow, a football team, just something that you might find that you have in common with someone else. So, and you get that by listening because you want to ask them questions like, what are your hobbies? Or, do you follow sports? I've been asked that before. Do I follow sports? And it's an interesting answer because the only sport I follow is college football. That's it. I don't like the NFL. And before it was college football, it was high school football. And the reason it was high school football is that guy sitting right there. He played football since he was 5 years old, and I was the football mom. I was the one, I would arrange meals, I would bring treats, I would bring snacks. I had a cowbell. They weren't allowed to turn around to see if you're in the stands, but a cowbell is louder than any other sound because it's so deep. And so once he would come out on the field and line up, I would ring my cowbell as loud as I could, and I would see him do one little nod of his head, and that meant, I know you're here, Mom. So I was actually a high school football mom, but now I don't have that. So now I'm college ball. So I love college ball. So you just want to listen and pick up on those cues that they're talking about, and then share some information about yourself with them. Um, One of the things that when you're talking with them, is it's important to have a real conversation. You don't want to just have a superficial conversation. You want to have a conversation that's going to mean something. And oftentimes, I know with us, we're very much into helping people move the needle. That's our big goal, is we want to help you move the needle. And I'll be honest with you, Laura or Tyler and I were having a conversation right before this call, talking about this call. What is the purpose of this call? Like, why do we do a day in the life of an asset manager and an underwriter? Why do we do it? And it's we want to help people. We want to help you with your underwriting. We want to help you with your asset management. And overall, we want to help you with multifamily. We want to see you move that needle. We want to see you become successful. And so that's why we do it every week, same time. So, but you just want to make sure that you've got some good conversations. Now, if you're going to an event that's, let's say it's 3 days, you don't want to come home with 100 business cards, because what's going to happen is you're not going to remember who they are. There's no way to have 100 conversations in 3 days that have any kind of meaning. But what if you came home with, let's say, 10 business cards? And I always take a Sharpie because a Sharpie will write on anything. And sometimes people have those cards that are really slick. And so, but I will, at the end of the night, I will write on the back of their business cards what we talked about, what was their superpower, what are they looking for? Because I may not be what they're looking for, but I may know someone that can help them. And I really believe it's through connecting and networking, which is what we're going to be doing, is how you get those connections. And so we want to make sure that if I have someone and they're looking for, let's say, a broker, that I want to write that they're looking for a broker so that when I get home, that's another step I'm going to do once I get home. So you want to make your notes and you, like I said, I would make it a goal to maybe bring home 10 business cards. Tyler, you went to a conference. How many days was that conference that you were at?
So I went to NMHC and it was a 3-day conference.
A 3-day conference. How many business cards did you come home with?
That many.
Yep.
So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 business cards.
What did I say? 10 cards max. He brought
I,
home eight.
I was
So
gonna
no,
say, oh, sorry.
that's okay.
I was just gonna say we are also students of networking, right? Like we're not here to tell you that we have it all figured out. This is exactly what to do. Sign up for our course that's $60,000 and figure out how to network, right? Like we're also learning as we go. And we figured out about a year ago that it is a quality over quantity by a large margin.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people that you will talk to at every conference. And I like 8 is the business cards I kept, right? I threw away probably 30 because people would just walk up to you, hand you a business card, be like, I do this, this, and this. I'd love to connect, and then walk away. And they're
Mhm.
going for quantity. But I don't know their story. I don't know what they do. They don't know me. How are they going to help my business? How am I going to help their business? We didn't have a conversation. I kept 8 business cards because I had 8 meaningful conversations that is going to move my business forward and move their business forward. And yeah, also to move this conversation into the 21st century, you don't need to get a Sharpie and write on the business cards. I didn't do that, right? Like there's 2 different ways to do it. If you have a CRM, you can add them to your CRM. Do add them to your CRM and put notes in there. And you can add the notes as you're walking around the conference. And you'll see a lot of people doing this, talking to their phone, telling notes about the person that they just met and the amazing conversation that they had, right? Or you can do this and pretend like you're on the phone with your business partner. Hey, I just had the most amazing conversation with this person. Here's what their business looks like. Here's, how it'll impact us. Here's how we can help them. And here's how we're going to move the needle forward, save. And it just looked like you were on a phone call. Um,
What's a CRM? I mean, maybe not everyone knows what a CRM is.
yeah, so CRM, customer relations management system.
Mhm.
And most people in our industry use like Go High Level in some kind of shape or form. The vast majority that I've seen, right? Like if you're an MFM student, they sell you that Engager package, I think it's what it's called. And that's a
Mhm.
Go High Level that's white labeled for MFM. There's Capitalist Pro. That's out of Arizona. We're good friends with them. They do CRMs. A lot of people do white label Go High Level because it's way more than a CRM. I know about 3% of what Go High Level can do because the 3% that I know breaks my brain.
But what it boils down to is you don't have to like go high level and do all that. you want a spreadsheet. It means you could seriously, we started with an Excel spreadsheet. That was our CRM, our customer relation management. And so we would put in their name, their phone number, their email, their address, what they specialized in, what we talked about. So it's just a CRM. And I was being a little bit facetious, but seriously, some people don't know. And it's just a way to organize all the people you talk to and all the people that you have. Because at some point, you may want to put out a newsletter or you may want to send out some sort of email blast or do something. But it's just a way, instead of having all those business cards and I'm going to age myself here and put them in my Rolodex. I'm not going to put them in my Rolodex. I'm going to put them in my CRM. So, yes. So, and what was the second one, Tyler? You said there were two ways, CRM or it'll come back around. The
Oh,
Rolodex will come back.
well, like save them in your phone with the notes if you don't want to do that, because then you can go back. Most phones you can look at your recently added contacts. So if you do end up adding people to your phone and putting notes in your phone, when you get back to a stationary position and you have a CRM or if you have an Excel spreadsheet that you work out of, you can look at your recently added contacts, go in and add those people to that with the notes because you'll forget. Like it's a 12, 14-hour day of meeting people, and it's amazing how quickly you'll forget, that someone has a grandchild and it's the light of their life and nothing will ever replace it, even if they got a new one. So, you know.
Oh, I think if they got a new one, they'd be really happy too.
But yes.
Okay. So I have 10 things. That was number four. So I'm gonna move along a little bit. Um, the number five is be really easy to talk to. Best way to do that is smile. If you're just kind of sitting there watching people go by, no one's going to approach you. But if you smile, they will. And just say hi. Or you can say, hi, why are you here? Because everyone has that same question. They're all, why are they there? So, or you could say, hi, are you a capital raiser or are you in the multifamily? There's lots of different ways that you can start, but just smiling and being open and not kind of closing yourself off. You just want to make it easy for people to approach you. And then, you do have social media. And so you want to make sure that once you get home, that you put them in your CRM. Maybe you're going to tag them in your social media, or you're going to follow them, or I don't remember what the other words are, but where you're going to, mark them that you have connected with them. Um, and it's easy to kind of stand in a big crowd and just feel like, hey, I'm participating. I'm in this crowd of 15 people, but you're not. I'm telling you, you're not participating. You want to be in a, 4 to 6, maybe at the most, that you're talking with, because then you can really have those conversations. When there's 15, 20 people, unless you're very assertive, you're probably not going to say a whole lot. So you want to make it smaller groups that let you get the real conversations. And then you want to make sure that you follow up very fast. I cannot tell you the number of people that I've had conversations with. I've written their name down. I have their information. And I never hear from them again, ever. So it's up to me to make that contact because so many people do not follow up. I will give you a really quick example. A good friend of mine was talking with someone who was doing self-storage. Now that's not something that we do, but people buy the self-storage buildings and manage them, and it's just another real estate. Um, and he was interested in that. He was thought, "Oh, that's pretty interesting." And he mentioned to the guy, that sounds really interesting. It's like, and so my friend in his mind said, I'm going to invest in self-storage. I've never done it. I like this person. I kind of want to see how it works. And so he had a dollar amount in his mind that he was willing to invest. Guess what? That guy never called him. Never called him. That was an investor that had already in their mind said, okay, I'm going to invest in this. I want to find out about it. And there was no follow up. And that is probably, I would say, Tyler, you might have another idea, but for me, that's the biggest um, stumbling block when it comes to this. You spend all this time and effort, you spend your money to go there, you go to the classes, you meet with people, but then you don't follow up. And how are you ever going to make those connections if you don't follow up with them? So for me, that is the biggest hurdle that you have to overcome, but it's also the best because not everyone does it. So if I could give you a secret sauce of how to be a I don't know what the word is, successful networker is follow up. 99% of the people don't do it. So if you do it, you are going to stand out. Okay. Um, if you have an opportunity to volunteer, do it. You know, if they're looking for people, can I get a volunteer for this or that? You want to do it. You want to be part of what helps move that process along. Even if it's just, hey, we need to clear this room really fast. Can people help us, get these chairs out of the way so we can set up for the next event? Whatever it is. You just want to make sure that you're there and available. And then, you want to make sure that you yourself are current. Like, where you are, whether you have properties. If you do, how many units do you have? You want to be current on what's going on in the market with the interest rates. If you're not, that's a good question to talk to a broker about. Just say, can you give me a current update on the interest rates and where do you think they're headed? Now, I guarantee you, if you ask a broker that, you're going to get way more information than you could possibly process, but in the end, you would have an answer. So, those are some ideas that I have. I see that we're almost out of time. Do you guys have any ideas that you'd like to share that you have found have been successful in doing your networking? Go ahead.
You guys know Skylar. He's one of the coaches for
Mhm.
multifamily
Coleman?
mindset.
Hmm.
Well, I was at one of his events and he used you have you can actually tap the card to somebody's phone and inputs, but he used this business card. I said, why do you like that? He said, well, because it allows my CRM to send them if they scan, it sends them a message and has a follow-up sequence. So I've got my assistant this time working on getting that to do it. What I typically do is take a say, hey, let me take a quick picture of us, and then I'll take a picture of you and me. Then I'll text it to you. Let me give that. I said, if ever I can help you in any way, let me know. I'd love to keep in touch. The follow-up typically is, oh, this is my wife and she loves, I don't know, something that you liked or whatever. And then and by the way, here's a picture of my wife dancing with our son. Do you have any offspring? Do you have any kids? Something like that. Please let us know if we can help you in any way with regards to your real. And then we have so we have a little sequence. But generally, I've copied and pasted something that says, "Hey, great meeting you at the such and so event on such and so date, and looking forward to connecting more. If I can help you in any way, let me know." And I'll send a picture of, say, my wife and I smiling and that type thing. So there is a sequence there. This time we're going to program it and let Ovo do it. For those, we'll hold your card out. So if you want to scan this QR code, or you can just touch the card that has the QR code to their phone and it'll input that in there. So we try to automate that and then try to have that sequence. It's interesting that not everybody will respond and
Hmm.
follow up, but interestingly, a year later, they might. They're
Hmm.
looking through somebody they need to pitch their deal to, and they find you. And hey, so I think I got one early this morning from somebody I met at Peak almost a year ago, and said, "Yeah, I would love to, know more and that type thing." So
Yeah, it's very interesting. That's a good idea because we have a nice family picture. We have a couple of them, so yeah. because we are a family. We want people to know we're a family business. That is one of our values is family. Anyone else have any ideas or suggestions? Go ahead, Shelby.
Be genuine. There's a lot of people that can come off it as very fake, and I can read that, and it bothers me. Just sorry, I have my 3-year-old. It bothers me as I'm sure it can bother other people too. So just be genuine.
Yep, I totally agree. Yep. Yeah, because you don't want to know a fake person. You want to know the real person. So, well, good. Well, I hope you guys have an event coming up and you can test some of these things that we've given you. We are going to be leaving tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. So next Monday, we might give you a short little update on how it went at Best Ever and did we accomplish what we set out to do? We'll let you know. We'll report back. So have a great week and we'll see you guys in a week.